lesson 6 and how to launch your first Facebook ad. What we're going to do today, we have a couple things that we're going to look at. And when you come away with this, your action plans are going to be to create at least one custom audience, if not more, create 2 different lookalike audiences, and we'll get into what those are, create 2 pieces of ad copy, and then 2 pieces of visual creative, either, one to 2 images, a video, and we'll cover how to do all that. But what we're going to start with is a custom audience, and a custom audience has a couple different features to it. So a custom audience is, let me do this. A custom audience is something that you tell Facebook and you give it the information. So basically, it could be you upload your email list, you load in a URL for your website, or maybe another site you own and have traffic to. Could be people on social media that visit your Instagram profile or engage with your business on Facebook. They like a post, they comment. People who watch a video. Lots of different custom audiences. For this, we could do email list. And so you're going to create a customer. You download your email list, and you're going to upload your email list into Facebook. If you work with a email list system that actually connects the value of each person, you can load in the email list with an actual value column, so you can tell Facebook what users are more valuable, and this will help Facebook find people most similar to your highest value emails. A lot of people don't have this, but if you do, it's a really nice feature. So you can either paste in a CSV file of your emails, or you can copy paste from an Excel spreadsheet. Really easy, just copy paste it here. You name it your email list and usually the date that you upload it. And then all those emails are in Facebook. Now, not every email will be found by Facebook because they have to have a Facebook profile, and they have to be using the email that you have as their Facebook email. So a general rule is, 50 to 70% of emails you upload will be found by Facebook. But that's a really great audience. You can run ads to them. You could exclude them if you don't want them to see ads from you, for any reason. Another audience you can make is people that have visited your website, so all website visitors. So what you could do is this works, by the way, because you've placed the audience pixel and it's on every page of your site, and so this is what Facebook's using. It's using your audience pixel. So you can tell all website visitors in the past 1 to 180 days, so you can pick how long. And what that does, as long as, say it's 30 days, if they've visited your website in the last 30 days, they'll potentially see an ad. But once it's taken them longer than 30 days, they won't see it. You can also make a custom audience out of people who visited specific web pages. So if you have a certain page on your site that you're like, this is a really valuable page, most people, maybe it's a blog post where anybody who visits that blog post will be really interested in your opt-in offer for your Tripwire, paste in the URL here. Maybe anybody in the last 180 days who visited this blog post, you paste the URL in, and then anybody who visited that page in 180 days can get your ad. These are great ways to get in front of people who've already engaged with you in some way. You've already done the work organically to get them here, so now the ads can kind of piggyback off of that. Now, a lookalike audience leverages your custom audiences, and then what a lookalike audience is between 1 and 10%, you pick, and it's 1%, say, of everybody in that country who uses Facebook that looks the most like your audience. So if we want to make a lookalike of site visitors, I can click this. So this is site visitors last 90 days. Let's say everybody in the United States. And then I'll make a lookalike of 5%. And so what that does is it says we're going to find the 5% of people who are Facebook users in the US who look the most like your site visitors in the last 90 days. And they do this based off of your site visitors' interests, how they interact with Facebook, their demographics, everything to figure it out. And these can be really great audiences. So instead of just trying to target cold audiences based off of interest, like they like this thing or follow this type of person, a lookalike audience is really powerful. And we definitely recommend you start with lookalikes when you start running ads. Besides retargeting and actually advertising to your own audience, lookalikes is the best way to get in front of cold audiences. So you'd create this audience, and then this audience would show up in your ads manager when you go to run an ad. Now, for ad creative, what you want to do, we want a couple pieces of ad copy, at least 2 pieces of ad copy, and For this, we're going to look just at regular newsfeed images, but you could also do or newsfeed ads. You could do a story ad. Story ads typically don't have text. It's just the image. You actually need to put text on the image. But for a newsfeed ad, which you should be creating, you have the main text, a headline, the news link description. We usually don't put anything there. We just hit space and have it be emptied out so that it's just the headline. And then you have the image. We also recommend you always use the Learn More button. We've tested different button styles here. There's like 10 or 12 different options. Subscribe now, Learn More. But Learn More tends to be the one that always does well. And so a couple things when you're writing your ad copy. You know your audience the best already, and they already know you. You don't have to try and speak differently to them. So if you're going to go out and advertise to cold audiences, these are still people that are going to be ultimately attracted to what you're offering and what you're buying. So they should resonate with how you speak. So the way you currently write on your website, in your emails, this can be your ad copy. And this can be kind of your voice. And if you're targeting people who are already visiting your site, use language from your site or from the page they visited so that it's really clear the connection between your ad and why they've been on your site. Some simple ad copy frameworks. Speak in your own voice, but it's great to start an ad with a yes or no question that identifies your target audience so that people who are your ideal audience say, yes, that's definitely me. Have you ever had X problem? Do you ever feel like Y? Or Z, and if they say no, they move on, they don't click the ad, they don't opt in, and so it's a great way to kind of grab someone's attention, and if you get it right, they'll feel like you know their problem really well. Another thing you can do, you don't want to do this and make it up, but if you have a strong opinion that goes against the norms in your industry, say it. So for example, in the ad space, a lot of people teach specific ad frameworks and they name them something. I really don't believe that there's any one single strategy that works for everybody. And so you need to experiment. So I don't have a Tripwire strategy. It's like, do this exact formula to get X result. And so I could go out and I could have a controversial opinion and say, anybody who is really adamant that there's one way to do anything with ads is crazy. Some people would hate it, some would love it, but the people that love it would come love my content and really engage with me. So don't be controversial for controversy's sake, but if you have a strong opinion that goes against your industry norms, that can be a great way to stand out and attract your ideal customer. Also, Facebook is where friends and family share content. It's okay to be a little more casual. Know your audience, match your own brand persona, but you can be playful in your copy, emojis, exclamation points. Meet your audience where they are. They're already on Facebook looking at friends' posts and things like that. So your ad, can fit right in with that. The last one that I love to try, so besides kind of shorter yes or no questions that get people to engage, and then some simple calls to action, telling a story can really engage people, and it can make them resonate and opt in. So here's an ad that we ran for a client once where they sold a course on how to, basically better parent your children, to get them to listen to you without, and the webinar was called Get Your Kids to Listen Without Nagging, Reminding, or Yelling. And we looked at a lot of their testimonials and created a story that we then put in the ad copy. And this story was basically about a mother who was in line and saw a mother screaming at her own child for misbehaving, and people were giving her disapproving glances. But the mother telling the story says, but not me. She's been there. She knows what that feels like. She knows how frustrating it is. But she doesn't do it anymore because she took this webinar. And so, it's a very short story, but the comments on this were crazy. We had 2,100 people who like it, 686 shares, 200 comments, people telling their own stories about, frustrating times, funny times where their kids melted down in a store. And it really resonated with people, and everybody it resonated with wanted to sign up and learn, how they could do this differently. So a story that talks about, your own frustrations in your business before you got to where you are, and how your webinar helps other people get to where you are, if that's what you're selling, can work really well. So these are some ad copy ideas. What I would recommend, have one that's pretty straight to the point, maybe a question, a sentence that's like, do you have this problem? join, download this thing to solve it. Something that's really simple. And then you could try another one that's a little bit more of a story. This one's a pretty short story, but you could do a longer one and really get people to understand. And then at the end, have the benefit. Be like, I did this. This is what happened to me, or this is what happened to this person. And now I have X result. Get this free offer so you can do the same thing. Really powerful way to do it. For ad creative, for visuals, a lot of options. You have images. You can put images in carousels. So those are the ones where it's like, Facebook calls them cards, but it's basically image, headline, and then there's another image and a headline, and you can slide over. A slideshow is you put a bunch of images and Facebook will turn it into a video where it just flips through it. Canvas, we don't use it a lot. It's a specialized Facebook ad product, so I'm not going to recommend you use that. But I would say videos. If you do a video, I would recommend do a story style video. So go into your own Instagram account, create a story. That way it'll definitely be 15 seconds or less because you can't make a story for longer than that. Be quick to the point. It can be casual. You can be walking around. It's okay to do that. And then add in some Instagram story. You could add a GIF. You could add some handwritten text or some font. And then you don't have to post it, but you download it, and then you can use that as an ad in your ad manager. It can work really, really well. But if you're a little hesitant to start with video, start with a couple simple images, either of yourself or find some stock photos. We usually use unsplash.com to find stock photos that don't look like stock photos. And if you want, use something like canva.com to actually add some text overlay to your image. And one quick note with images, your image can't have more than 20% text on it. So just make sure your text isn't all over your image. It needs to kind of be 20% or less. So images, you want images that fit the copy or theme and grab attention. You don't want to go crazy and pick an image that's like a puppy if you're not selling something or offering something related to puppies, even though everyone loves puppies and clicks on puppy images. You'll end up getting people that are, not very high quality. So make sure the image, if it's not of you, does fit the theme and grab someone's attention. Lots of tools for creating your own creative very quickly and easily. Canva, Stencil, graphic designers on Upwork that can do this for you. Stock photos, I mentioned, Unsplash or Pixabay have lots of free commercially licensed images you can use. Start simple. You can just use the stock photos or images of you with no text overlay. We do that with clients all the time, and sometimes they outperform the more designed images. But if you want to try it, test layering in graphics from Canva or Stencil with banners or text banners that have a call to action or describe what people are opting in for. And this note is everything with ads. Prize testing over perfection until you're scaling. So I'd rather you test a couple things, even if they're imperfect, than spend forever making what you think is the perfect ad. Videos for ads, less than 120 seconds if it's going to be regular Facebook or Instagram news feed. Less than 15 seconds for the vertical story style. For all ads, we recommend creating a couple versions to test. But especially for video, create 2 types and see how they do. If you think about it, one could be more very factual. Here's what you're going to get. Sign up. Here's your benefit. Another could be more personality. Maybe, you talk more like yourself, and it's really casual, and just see which one does better. So that's ad creative, and the last part of your action plan is going to be after you create your audiences. So you're going to create at least one custom audience, hopefully 2 or more. Definitely create 2 lookalike audiences. A lookalike of your email list would be ideal. Then you're also going to draft 2 pieces of ad copy and create at least 2 images, or pick 2 stock images that you're going to use for your ads. So that way you have all the pieces lined up for once we dive into the ads manager to launch your campaigns. So those are your action plans. Get going, good luck, and I think next week we're going to dive into the ad account itself and start setting some things up.